The most terrifying things are not the ones we anticipate. They are the ones that slither into our lives, unexpected and unwelcome. They lurk in the shadows of our celebrations, waiting for the moment to strike. We let our guard down, lulled by the rhythm of life, the normalcy of a summer day, the warmth of a holiday gathering. Then terror strikes. It leaves us reeling, questioning everything we thought we knew. This is a story of two such encounters, two chilling tales of terror on the 4th of July. 1984. The air hung heavy with the smell of charcoal and chlorine. Laughter echoed across the neighbourhood, a symphony of summer revelry, but Ivan felt a knot of unease in his stomach. He wasn't much of a party person, preferring the company of his books and his thoughts. Yet here he was, driving to a friend's annual 4th of July bash, a reluctant participant in a tradition he never enjoyed. As he pulled into the crowded driveway, a sense of foreboding washed over him. He tried to shake it off, attributing it to his introverted nature. He told himself it was just the heat, the noise, the overwhelming press of people. The house throbbed with life, a cacophony of music, chatter and the sizzle of grilling meat. Ivan plastered a smile on his face and plunged into the throng. He found his friend, exchanged pleasantries and accepted a beer he didn't really want. He drifted through the party, a ghost in a Hawaiian shirt, feeling increasingly out of place. The forced smiles, the inane conversations, the oppressive heat, it all grated on his nerves. He longed for the quiet solitude of his apartment, for the comfort of his worn-out armchair and a good book. As the evening wore on, Ivan found himself seeking refuge on the fringes of the party. He wandered away from the boisterous crowd, drawn to the relative quiet of the backyard. The laughter and music faded, replaced by the chirping of crickets and the distant rumble of fireworks. He leaned against the cool brick wall of the house, nursing his beer, watching the shadows lengthen as the sun dipped below the horizon. He felt a sense of relief wash over him, a momentary escape from the forced gaiety of the party. But the feeling was short-lived. A prickling sensation crawled up his spine. He felt a presence, a pair of eyes watching him from the darkness beyond the pool of light cast by the patio lanterns. He turned his head slowly, scanning the shadows, his heart pounding in his chest. The hair on the back of his neck stood on end. He saw nothing, but the feeling of being watched intensified. He told himself it was just his imagination, fueled by the beer and the eerie stillness of the night. But deep down, a primal fear began to stir within him. A blood-curdling scream shattered the night. Ivan spun around, his heart leaping into his throat. The scream came from the front of the house. Panic surged through the partygoers. People scrambled, their faces etched with terror, their voices a chorus of confusion and fear. Ivan stood frozen for a moment, his mind struggling to process the chaos unfolding around him. Adrenaline surged through his veins, jolting him into action. He ran towards the source of the commotion, his mind racing with possibilities. He pushed his way through the panicked crowd, his eyes scanning the scene. And then he saw it, a figure silhouetted against the flashing lights of a police car, being dragged away by two officers. The figure struggled, its screams echoing in the night. Ivan caught a glimpse of wild eyes, a blood-stained shirt, and a maniacal grin that sent shivers down his spine. He couldn't hear what the figure was shouting, but the look in its eyes spoke volumes. It was a look of pure, unadulterated madness. Fast forward to 2015. The 4th of July fireworks painted the night sky with bursts of colour and light. Sarah sat alone in her living room, her gaze lost in the flickering images on the television screen. The city outside throbbed with the sounds of celebration, but inside her apartment an unsettling silence reigned. Her family was out of town, her friends busy with their own festivities. She had chosen to spend the holiday alone, seeking solace in the familiar comfort of her home. But as the night wore on, a sense of unease began to creep in, whispering on the edges of her awareness. The insistent buzzing of her phone startled her. It was her neighbour, Mrs. Peterson, her voice tight with anxiety. "Sarah, dear, I think someone's trying to break into your apartment. I saw a suspicious man lurking around your balcony a few minutes ago. Sarah's heart skipped a beat. She rushed to the balcony door, her hand trembling as she reached for the lock. It was locked. Relief washed over her, followed by a wave of dizziness. She peered through the blinds, her eyes scanning the darkness for any sign of movement. The balcony was empty. "Mrs. Peterson, are you sure?" "I just checked, and my balcony is empty," Sarah said, her voice trembling despite her attempt to sound calm. "Dear, I know what I saw. That man was definitely trying to pry open your balcony door. Call the police, Sarah, and be careful." The line went dead. Sarah stood there for a moment, her phone clutched in her hand, her mind racing. Mrs. Peterson was elderly, her eyesight failing. Maybe she had been mistaken. Maybe it was just a prank, kids messing around on a night of celebration. But deep down, a primal instinct whispered a warning. She couldn't shake off the image of the shadowy figure Mrs. Peterson had described, the fear in her voice echoing in Sarah's ears. She walked back to the balcony door, her hand hovering over the lock. She peered through the blinds again, her heart pounding in her chest. The balcony was still empty, but this time she noticed something she hadn't before. The plant stand, usually nestled against the railing, was overturned. The clay pot lay shattered on the floor, shards of terracotta scattered across the tiles. Panic welled up inside her, threatening to overwhelm her. She had to get out of there. She grabbed her phone and dialed 911, her fingers fumbling over the keys. The line remained eerily silent. She tried again, her heart pounding in her ears. Still nothing. The phone seemed dead. Fear, cold and sharp, shot through her. She was trapped. She scanned the room, her eyes searching for a weapon, anything to defend herself. Her gaze fell on a heavy metal floor lamp standing in the corner. She lunged for it, her hands gripping the cold metal. Her mind raced, replaying a self-defense class she had taken years ago. She remembered the instructor's words. "Use whatever you have at your disposal. Fight back, make noise. Don't be an easy target." She took a deep breath, trying to steady her nerves. Her eyes darted to the door, her only escape route. But what if he was already there, waiting on the other side? The police arrived shortly after, sirens wailing, breaking the tense silence that had descended upon Sarah's apartment. They found no sign of forced entry, no trace of the intruder. The balcony door remained locked, the shattered pot and overturned plant stand, the only evidence of a possible intrusion. Sarah spent the rest of the night at a friend's place, her body still trembling with adrenaline, her mind replaying the events of the evening in a dizzying loop. She couldn't shake off the feeling of vulnerability, the chilling realization that the safety of her home had been violated. Both Ivan and Sarah's 4th of July experiences, though separated by decades, shared a chilling common thread: the unexpected intrusion of terror into their lives. They served as stark reminders that danger can lurk in the most unexpected places, shattering the illusion of safety we often build around ourselves. These experiences left an indelible mark on their psyches, forcing them to confront their own vulnerabilities and the fragility of their perceived security. These chilling tales underscore the importance of vigilance, of trusting our instincts when something feels amiss. We often dismiss our gut feelings as paranoia, attributing them to overactive imaginations or a culture steeped in fear-mongering. But what if these instincts are our body's way of warning us, of keeping us one step ahead of danger? Ivan's initial unease, his decision to seek refuge on the fringes of the party, could have been his saving grace. Sarah's decision to trust Mrs. Peterson's observation, despite her doubts, might have been crucial in preventing a potential tragedy. We live in a world where danger can lurk in the shadows, where the line between safety and vulnerability can be razor thin. It is imperative that we remain aware of our surroundings, that we listen to our instincts, and that we never become complacent about our safety. This is not to say that we should live in a state of constant fear, suspicious of everyone and everything. Rather, it is a call for a healthy dose of awareness, a reminder that our safety is ultimately our own responsibility. But these stories are not just about terror and the fragility of safety. They are also about the resilience of the human spirit, the courage we find in the face of fear. Ivan, despite his initial reluctance, ran towards the commotion, his instinct to help overriding his fear. Sarah, armed with nothing but a lamp and her wits, faced her fear head-on, ready to defend herself. Their experiences, though terrifying, also served as crucibles, forging within them a newfound strength and an understanding that fear, while powerful, does not have to control us. The 4th of July, a day meant for celebration and joy, became a turning point in their lives, a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the ever-present possibility of danger. But it also became a testament to their courage, their resilience and their ability to find strength in the face of fear. They emerged from their experiences forever changed, marked by the encounter but not defined by it. They learned that true bravery lies not in the absence of fear, but in the triumph over it.